Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I wanted to talk about something really strange that has happened with my watercolors. Now I have the 36 set. It's the Schmincke Hoodrum Aquarelle. It's the pans, as you can see, and then the bottom row is a weird mixture of things like gouache, and I have Neocolor 2s in a pan, like the sharpened shavings. Okay, so the original set of this, and I've replaced colors since then a few times, was purchased in 2017, and it was a gift. So thank you, Mom. I love you. To the moon and back, beyond all measure. Okay. And I have used this for many projects, commissions, all kinds of things. Now, I did, it was a bird drawing challenge with watercolors in December of 22, right? December of 22. And I noticed that I had water in some of my pans and they were sitting overnight. And a couple of the colors started growing mold. I will link the videos about the mold. I have since sprayed a little bit of rubbing alcohol and let them dry out, and they've been fine. So that's kind of a weird thing with humidity. We have a ton of humidity where I live. I live by the beach in the forest. It's very strange. I love it. It's choose your own wild adventure over here with the bears and all the animals. But it is very unique. And I know it's September and right now it rained. So in the forest there's a lot of rain because that's how the trees get water. So there's, at any given time, our humidity is really high, like in the 70 percentile. Like almost always. So it's kind of a unique living environment anyways. And we have a lot of rain. We don't have a lot of sun. So doing light fast testing is really hard. I rely on other resources for that. Apparently my cat wants to say hi. She's throwing a tantrum because my husband is walking the dog while I do this video and she misses him. So hopefully that'll peter out and she will just have to deal with it because her favorite person is on a walk. And he took the kids with them, so there's nobody to indulge her tantrum. Okay, so yes, weird environment, lots of moisture. So I have a hair dryer. It's like a Revlon, it's a cheapie. I use that for making sure things are really dry if I do a watercolor challenge in the wintertime. And next month I plan on doing watercolors with this set all month long. And I will definitely need my blow dryer for that. So what I want to talk about is one of the colors, and maybe you can see it. What the heck happened? So I will show you. I always swatch all my colors. So this is the card that comes with the 36 set. Okay, I have this zoomed in as much as possible. I want you to be able to see this stuff. And it's a 36, so the bottom row is all blank. And I swatched. So within every set, and I have a more in-depth video about this set if you're curious about purchasing the Hoodrum Aquarelle watercolors. Some are more opaque, some are more granulating, some are more transparent, some are more light fast, like indigo. You are not light fast. Make sure you know the history of indigo. It's heartbreaking and it's important to know, but I love that color. But so there's a lot of stuff that goes into a full set, and you're not going to get the same matchy with everything. Again, this one is very granulating. This is more transparent. So within each set, there's going to be a ton of variation. And that's kind of why some people prefer to build their own. Like I have indigo as a mixture from Daniel Smith. It has a blue and a black. The blue is more light fast, and the black, which makes it look like indigo. So it's great for just using it by itself. However, if you go to mix it and do different combinations with it, it's not ideal because of the black within it. But it makes a light fast indigo. So just, I mean, within everything, there's strengths and weaknesses. If you don't like granulating watercolors, you want to lay down a very smooth application that's evenly distributed and You don't want the texture. Think about making your own set. So this is what the 36 set looks like. There's just a lot of different things going on. Not all these are vegan. This is ivory black. That is not a vegan pigment. So that's another thing to be cognizant of if that is something important to you. So when we look at the top row, okay? And I know mine look absolutely a fright, but this is what it looks like when you use your colors. I am not a collector, I'm a creator. So all my stuff looks a little messy, okay? This top color is supposed to be manganese violet. Yeah, I use a little bit of the magenta. That's not the most light fast color either. But you can really see like the different reds as we get into the oranges and yellows. But something happened to my manganese violet, and I noticed it getting wonky last year, and I don't use it a lot. This isn't a purple I gravitate towards. I make my own purples. Just because there's just certain colors I'll use a convenience of, like lots of reds. I mean, I know it's a primary, but I don't like mix other things to get my burgundies. But when it comes to purples, I always make my own. I have a purple in here. It's a core. It's the dioxide something something. I'll throw up the name. And it gets everywhere. This never dries out. This is from a tube. It's very, very dark. It has a huge shade range and it's light fast. So I like that one, but I don't. This is the original from 2017. So I've hit pan, but it's not purple anymore. Now I've been on the internet scouring, trying to figure out if this is a thing with other people. And I will link some of the resources and things I found. So manganese violet is PV16. And it's not, sometimes companies will call it mineral violet. So if you have a mineral violet, you have manganese violet. But it's not made from a mineral. It's not really a pigment. They combine manganese chloride, phosphoric acid, and ammonium carbonate to get this color. Okay, so that's the combination of, and I will link, Jackson's Art has a really nice story of manganese violet in one of their blogs. I will link that because I think they did a really good job explaining that. I found there's a blog called the Watercolor Log by Peter Ward, and he had a problem with his. His was a gram mineral violet, and let's see. He said the first tube was half empty. And then something else was wrong. It was a muddy brown, and he contacted the company and they gave him a good tube. They said that there was a problem with his batch. Now, this is from October of 2012. So this is an old story. I'm not sure. Okay, so, and then Hudrum Schminke themselves has this listed as a semi-transparent, non-staining, granulating, very good light fastness. Okay. I don't know if you've ever been to Handprint. Handprint is a very cool web page where they break down all the different pigments. So they have a section about PV16, and it's considered a top 40 pigment because it's very light fast, semi-transparent, light staining, dark valued, moderately dull red-violet pigment. And it's from a bunch of different manufacturers online, and it's considered excellent. So I'm not sure. I will link Handprint's section on violet, and you can scroll down to PV16 and read about it. I'm just going to link a bunch of really interesting watercolor resources that you may or may not have available to you or know about. And there is a stability and degradation study they did on manganese violet, but they they tested it under carbon dioxide and like humidity exposure. So I'm not sure. There's an abstract, there's an introduction. I will link this as well if you want to see like a weathering experiment to this actual pigment. I don't have CO2 issues in my house, in my life, which is really good. We have those alarms in case there's, you know, too much carbon dioxide in the air. I don't know what happened. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dig this out and we're gonna see if there's any like salvageable pigment in here. I don't think there is. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it out. And I have a piece of paper. This is the, this is from my roll, and it's a really beat up sheet that I have. Always have a sample sheet of all your different papers, but this is the Strathmore 500 series. This is their 100% cotton. It's a little thin, but it's nice for one-sided watercolors. And you can see this is a Schmincke pan. It has the logo on the back. I have a plastic palette knife that I use for acrylic. I don't have a lot of acrylics left. I mean, gosh, there's hardly any water in this. Okay. I don't know if this is going to loosen it up any, or I have some brushes. I just don't think there's any purple left in here. This is really weird, and it looks like a muddy brown. You know what it looks like? It kind of looks like the color of, oh, it's so weird. Congratulations, you found a skin tone. It's really strange. It's not my skin tone. But it's not that far off either, is it? I don't think there's any purple left in here. I just don't know what happened. And I can't really find anybody else talking about theirs going bad. And again, I'm not the only one that lives in like a high humidity location, so I'm not sure what the heck happened. But there's just no purple left in there. And it's a really strange color. I'm not going to use it for anything. I would never use this as a skin tone. I make my own with primary colors, and then, you know, if I want it lighter, I'll add a tint of white. If I want it darker, I'll add, well, I don't do a lot of black in my skin tone. I just add some browns, some sepia. I really like that. You know, rich browns are the best skin tones. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing, gosh, I have a fingernail file. This is just the weirdest dang thing. And I meant to talk about this last year, and I kept forgetting and getting distracted by other topics and other things going on in my life. And again, it's so strange because I don't ever gravitate towards using this color. I used it a lot in the beginning when I first received the set because it was just so nice not to have to make a purple. And then I realized it wasn't the purple I like using. So I stopped using it, and it's like that clutter blindness. Like there's so many pans, there's 36 pans. I just didn't even notice it. So I don't know exactly when this turned. After 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, I don't know. I could go back and look maybe at some of my videos, but I don't really show the full pan set when I'm watercoloring on my video because most people want to look at the page of what I'm actually making. So I don't know when this turned, and I'm not seeing any purple left. So here's what's gonna happen. Not much. I'm not gonna replace this color, the PV16. I'm not going to. I'm not gonna buy another Schmincke pan that's this color. I don't use it. It's already gone bad once. And out of all the colors, this is the only one that's done something weird. And again, no part of it has any purple left. This whole thing is so strange. Welcome to Art Problems with Kendra. We have mold in the winter. We have colors losing color. I don't know. This is just the dangest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I'd be bummed if this was like a color I used all the time, but it's not. There's only like one purple in this set, and this is the purple. Again, there's like, you know, there's half a dozen reds and half a dozen blues, so you can make the absolutely most gorgeous colors within this, but I don't understand. If you have any weird experience with watercolors losing their pigment color, or you know things about the manganese or mineral violet that I am not aware of, I've been doing the reading, and I will link this, gosh, there's a PDF of it. The stability and degradation issues of manganese violet pigment in polymeric paints. Morphological and chemical changes under SO2 and humidity exposure. So I can link this if you want to read this. Science reports are kind of dry, but they're interesting. So Academy of Fine Arts, Vienna Institute of Conservation, Restoration, Modern and Contemporary Art. Vienna. Okay, this was done, submission received March 2025. So this is fairly new, and then April, published April 22nd, 2025. So, X-ray powder differentiation. There's a lot that goes into this. Environmental pollution, artificial aging. I don't know. I'm not a chemist. I do not have any sort of science background. I have a graphic design background in my education, and I'm an artist. So a lot of that stuff's a little over my head because I'm not familiar with art restoration either. That's like not a thing I ever went into. I'm familiar with gallery work, but from the artist perspective and from the employee perspective, but I don't have any sort of chemical background. And this whole thing is just, it's messy. I don't know. Let's see if I were to buy this. Like I don't know what else to say about it. It's sort of weird, right? I don't even know how to spell Schminke. Like, I'm not good with spelling. I'm not good with the German, the Dutch. Let's see. Horodrum. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Some of these pans all differentiate in price, and it's because of the different pigments and processes that go into making them. So sometimes a pan is expensive because it's really hard to acquire the pigment. This is an extra ivory black I have. And sometimes it's more expensive because of just how they go to make it. Like the process is really difficult. So Blick here charges for a half pan, they charge $11.53. This is US dollar. I can link a currency converter. The full pan is $17.77 of manganese violet. It's a series 3. Again, the series numbers has to do with the price. So, and light fast is 2, very good. They number it 474. That's just their own personal numbering system. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Should you not buy this color? I don't know. I have so many I don't knows. Like the amount of stuff I don't know is vast. Permanence. It's one of the most light, fast, balanced violets in watercolor form. Toxicity. Manganese violet is highly toxic if inhaled and moderately toxic if ingested. Okay, please don't eat it. This pigment was developed in 1868 by E. Lekoff? I can't pronounce that. I'll put his name up though. It's very beautifully spelled. To replace the more expensive cobalt violet. It was not offered as an artist pigment until 1890. And then they have the chemical formulation. This is for all my chemists. Okay. Inorganic. Right. Manganese ammonium phosphate. PV16. Okay. There can be a significant difference in color across brands. It shares similar properties with bluish shades of cobalt violet. So if you have cobalt violet, you might have something similar. If you have a mineral violet, something similar, PV16. If your actual like pan or tube says PV16, we have the same. Except mine lost its color and got weird. To be fair to Schmincke, this is the only one that's gotten weird in all the years of having this set. So I don't think it's their issue on their side. Like, I don't want to blame Schmincke for this. Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't do anything weird, so I don't leave my set in the sun. I don't microwave it. I'm trying to think of weird things people do with their watercolors. I don't freeze my pigments. I don't do anything like that. So I'm not doing any weird temperature things. All I can think is maybe humidity and then age. Like, this didn't age well. So I know with some of my tubes that are newer than this, the gum arabic definitely separates and I have to like stir my tubes, which is why I prefer pans in the long run, because I just don't have time to stir, like stick in a little tiny pin or an unfolded paper clip and stir the gum arabic back into every single tube of paint that I have where it separates. This is kind of a waste of time when I have limited time as it is. So I definitely gravitate towards pans. Also, like the cleanup, if I'm just using a little tiny bit, I don't need to pull a watercolor palette out. So pan is my preferred thing. I just don't know about aging. So maybe this doesn't age well. So you heard it here first. I don't know. If you have a PV16 in a pan that's, I don't know, 8 years old or older, and it hasn't done anything strange, let me know. Mine did something strange. I probably should have taken a before picture for my thumbnail of the video. Yeah, mine did something strange and I don't know how to explain it. So it could have been a bad batch that over time got bad, which is strange because I have some old, here's the other deal. I have some old pieces of art that are from the original and the purple's still purple on the page. So it's definitely something within the pan. I don't know. But I thought I would share that. I thought we could talk about it. We could look at it. It looks weird. Welcome to everything you wanted to know about PV16 with all the questions that we don't have answers to. Again, I will link resources in the description box if you're curious about handprint and how they break down different pigments. It's a great webpage. The story of this pigment from Jackson's blog, like I will link some things if you want to try and parse and break down this study about the stability and degradation issues of manganese violet pigmentation in polymeric paints. There's a PDF also available that you could read. Yeah, so the author, Laura Pegnin, Gilia Cardin, Valentina Pintus, and Michelle Back. Oh, there's more authors. Okay, there's like 7 authors. So a bunch of people wrote this. I have it on ResearchGate, if you're curious what webpage I was going through. For this article. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Here's part of the other thing of being an artist and a creator on YouTube. If you are like a YouTube creator and you have quite a significant amount of pans and different sets, this is my largest set. This is my biggest set. This is this is what I use for commissions for watercolors because I know these like in and out like the back of my hand. And I know which ones are light fast and how to make them more light fast. I have tubes. I have under 100 different colors of watercolors. For being a prolific creator, for being an artist, for being someone on YouTube, having less than 100 watercolors, it's not very much considering other watercolorists and creators on here will show you like their collection of watercolors, all the different sets they have, They'll have limited editions. They'll have ones specifically just granulating. That's what the tubes I have are, either super light fast or they're granulating, and that's why I have them. It's very strategic and specific. But I don't have like 5 from each company. Like this is what I have from Schmincke, and then I have like 3 other tubes. So I'm not someone that has a ton of watercolors. If you have a ton of different watercolor sets, and it's not a collection thing for you, I don't know. And if you watercolor every day, I still don't know how you're going to go through them in your lifespan. It's really hard to use up watercolors. Like the more you have, and especially if you don't work super large or you leave part of your page white, like you're one of those people that doesn't use white and so you use the negative space as white, and you don't create every day, maybe you create a couple times a week, you're never going to use up all this stuff in your lifetime. So I don't see, personally, I don't see the point of having tons of different sets, because I could either make the colors myself, like I understand color theory, I've had enough classes on that, and then through enough practice builds up the other bit of it. I just don't have a lot, relatively speaking to other folks that show off, like, you know, they'll have 20 to 50 different pans sets from different companies. And if they're a person that either teaches outside and then they pull it all out for their students, or they're a YouTuber that compares and people can ask comparative questions, like how does that compare to this one, the gal, or just all the different companies, Maramoo, you know, if they want to know how this rates between brands, like the smoothness, the opacity, like some of that is really difficult to parse and make sense of because it comes down to personal preference. So they can say, hey, I like the Schmincke better than, say, the Cotman. Or, sorry, Winsor Newton's artist grade. The Cotman's student grade. But they can say, I like Schmincke more than Winsor Newton artist grade because this one is more opaque. But again, opaque is the preference of the person creating. It's not the preference of the person necessarily buying. So I find it really hard to compare watercolor company to watercolor company. Like some people like M. Graham more than Schmincke. And they can get more colors. Like they have a larger collection, a larger set of different colors where they don't have to mix and match. And that's why that's their preference. I can't in good faith say one company is like better than, unless I'm saying, hey, I spoke with them and they were really easy to get a hold of, they were really helpful, and they solved my problem right away, versus me calling this company and I couldn't get a hold of them, they were really rude, they didn't respond, they won't issue a refund. Like you can talk about companies in terms of customer service, and you can talk about it in terms of like light fastness, or like this is, most of their colors are granulating, or most of their convenience colors aren't light fast, but they're super fun to work with. That becomes a preference of, yeah, I really like neons, or I really like colors that aren't light fast because I take digital photos and all my stuff is digital, so it doesn't matter that it's in print, or all the prints are behind glass and people don't have to worry about it. And they're away from windows. So to be one of those YouTubers that buys all the different sets and then compares them is not a good fit for me, because I would just end up storing them more than using them, and it feels weird to store stuff that I can't use in my lifetime. I'm 45, and you know, I like to think I have a couple decades left of watercoloring and using all my stuff. I just don't. I'm not one to ask, like, hey, do you like this company better than another company? Because I don't own a lot of different company stuff. I just don't. I find something that really works and it answers most of my issues, and then I just stick with it and stay with it. I am on a low-buy art supply journey. I have a playlist for that. I did a no-buy art supply in all of 2022, and I have a playlist for that. I will link both of those in the description box below if you want to see how I came to terms with what I use, how I use it, my buying preferences, how much I spent, in case that's something that doesn't make you uncomfortable. I do talk about money. And there's full transparency of the amount I actually used and spent. I just don't, I'm not the channel for that. I'm not the channel that goes, hey, you know what? This company has a brand new set and it's in a tin that's a collector item and I'm going to buy it. That's not a thing I'll ever say. I don't care about the tins. I can't store mine in the tins anyways because of mold and humidity. So it doesn't matter that the tin is a different color. It doesn't matter if they have like a limited edition thing. I can either make it if I'm interested. Chances are I'm probably not. I don't get a lot of commissions asking for really weird specific one-off colors or a specific like granulation mix. Like I just don't get those kind of commissions. You know, people want portraits of their pets, of their children, of their homes, of certain things that are very personal to them. And it just comes down to making the color that matches what they have or who I'm creating. So I won't be, this is a long way of saying, I won't be replacing this. I'm not mad about this. I just thought this was really weird and strange and something I didn't see anybody else talking about. And I like talking about stuff nobody else is talking about. Again, I will link my mold issue videos so we can look at, you can look at hairy pans. If you're eating, it may not be the video for you. Maybe wait. If that's something that just grosses you out in general, just don't watch them, please. Never watch one of my videos if you're not in the mood. I would never ask you to do that. But if you're curious and you think it's kind of strange, like my weird lifestyle with the humidity in my air, I do have those videos. Yeah, I don't know what happened to this color. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will link things. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week and I will talk to you later. Bye.